Possibly the most fast-held scientific theory is evolution. But you've argued that evolutionary theory isn't accurate. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Again, this is one of those things where, I'm nearly 60 now. Obviously, I don't look it.
James.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's the hunting and the I don't know, eating meat, I suppose.
Healthy lifestyle.
For most of my life, I would have absolutely believed that evolution wasn't even a theory, because it's not even taught as theory in schools anymore. It's kind of an accepted fact now. I thought Darwin was one of the greatest Britons ever, right up there with Lord Nelson and Winston Churchill and other people that I've since learned probably have feet of clay. But anyway, Darwin, he gets rammed down your throat. He's kind of like our alternative religion now, isn't he? Darwinism is like, if you don't believe Darwinism, if you don't believe in evolution, you are just one of those, like one of those crazy religious freaks in the sort of the Bible Belt in America. That's how they sell it. Either you believe in Darwin or you're a nutcase. And I've noticed that when you read any newspaper article about science, certainly anything about biology, you will find references to evolution in some way or another. It's all built in there. It's all built into TV nature programs. It's everywhere. Darwin himself, when he wrote The Origin of Species, he knew that there were massive flaws in his evolutionary theory. There's even a section of it which I've read, where he says, there is kind of I paraphrase, there is kind of a problem with my theory, but we'll sort of skip over that. We'll further research needed, but we'll sort this one out. And the problem is this: everyone understands, because it's almost it's almost observable, that micro evolution takes place all around us. And a microevolution is just another word for adaptation. Animals adapt all the time. Foxes change slightly. My dad, when I was a child, used to breed guppies. He was a world champion guppy breeder.
Oh, that's
because
so cool.
Guppies have a very short... It was cool, yeah. I had a cool dad. He's a cool dad. He was a racing driver. He did all sorts of things. It was probably why my crazy parents are why I'm the way I am. Anyway, so he bred guppies, and because guppies have quite a short breeding cycle, it means that you can isolate strains and create new strains of guppies. With different, maybe different swords on their tails, or different fin shape, or whatever. You can quickly engage in your very own. You can almost play God. You can engage in microevolution. Macroevolution is something completely different. Macroevolution, which is what which is the essence of evolutionary theory, which is that there was this sort of primordial soup. And gradually, a sort of an amoeba developed more cells and expanded, and that these fishy things gradually sort of started developing. They were suddenly able to survive without gills and crawl onto the land and so on. And they became, fish became amphibians, and then they became reptiles, and then they developed wings and all this stuff. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for a number of reasons. It doesn't work because evidence shows us it doesn't. There's no evidence for it. There's nowhere in the fossil record which shows intermediary species.
Really?
There's nowhere in the fossil records that shows fish becoming. No, it's just not. This is and Darwin recognized this. This is one of the problems. There is no evidence for it. The second thing is that the mathematical chances of each successive mutation happening to turn a fish into a bird or a human, or it's impossible. It's impossible. Even over. I sometimes say to people, look, when your dog breeds with another dog, or I suppose a bitch would it be technically? What comes out when a dog meets a bitch and they mate? What comes out? It's another dog, isn't
Puppies,
it?
yes, another
and
dog.
When that dog has puppies, what does it produce? Dogs. It doesn't produce a litter of puppies with a tiny fragment of wing which could develop and get bigger with the next generation, does it?
No.
And suppose it did produce a litter with the hint of a wing. What are the chances of the next generation that lump would get bigger? Why wouldn't it shrink instead? I mean, you see what I mean? The evolutionary theory presupposes that over billions of years, creatures could sort of accrue these new characteristics, which transform them into something completely new. That their eyes change their characteristics. It doesn't work. But so many of us take what we're taught at school for granted. We think. I ask people about what do you know about evolution, and I point out these flaws, and they say, yeah, but it happens over billions of years. Like explains, it happens over such a large time scale. I needn't worry about it because it just does. Or they say the Galapagos Islands, and you think, yeah, okay, so you've named the Galapagos Islands. You've maybe seen a documentary about them, probably voiceovered by David Attenborough. But what does that prove? Or they'll say, natural selection. But it's a phrase they've been taught. They don't question it at all. They just accept it.
Yes,
and that's where we are. That's where most of us are in our understanding of the world. We just accept what we've been told.